Well, hi, this is Jerry Gagne. The program is Boys on Facebook, and we usually do this first 15 minutes to give us time to warm up. And they tell me it's for warming up just to make sure everything's working okay. But in reality, Gina has to go make herself pretty. So she spends anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes in there combing her hair, and you know what women do. But anyways, my name's Jerry Gagne. I'm the owner of Foy's, retired. Kim is the president. Gina is the vice president. Sister Act. And as I've mentioned before, the whole company, with me gone, is women. And it actually works. I'm going to talk about some different things. Um, as you probably know, we have an auction. The birds going to be on auction, have been on auction pretty much all week, sending in bids. We already have bids. And the three pair we're offering this week are a pair of coop tumblers, a pair of racing homers, and a pair of Danzig high flyers. And do we have bids on all three of them yet? Okay, so we do have bids on all three of them. I'll give you a secret. You take a close look at the Danzig high flyers at around 4 o'clock or so. They're gorgeous, and they're a rare breed and one of the top breeders of Danzig high flyers in the United States. They're a combination showbird and flying bird. Some of the things I wanted to talk about in my 15 minutes, now I have 11 minutes. Um, Droppings. Got a call yesterday. I mentioned this before, so I thought I'd talk about it again because Gina also brought it up yesterday and brought it up again this morning, or this afternoon, excuse me, is large mounds droppings in the cage or on the floor. And we have the auction birds, and she looked at them this morning, and she had her grandchild with her, and the grandchild thought it was an egg. It was so big. Hello, grandchild, or great grandchild. uh, what that is this time of the year when you're breeding, you have to keep in mind that the hen sits on the eggs most of the time, and she sits on them. Let's say from around 4:30 in the evening, right around there, 4:35, a little earlier, depending on the bird itself, and she doesn't come off that egg or those young until the next day, somewhere around 10 o'clock in the morning. So if you figure that out, that's a lot of hours. Hi, sweetheart. Come here. This is my great granddaughter. Tell her your name. Leia. Leia. Okay, you can sit down if you want. The droppings collect in the hen. The cock doesn't do it because it doesn't sit on the young that long, but the hen does, and it just collects for almost 14 hours. And when she comes off the eggs or the young, it just all comes out what she's been saving for all that time. And what you get is a mound of stuff, droppings. The um, top is usually white, and that's the urine, and the bottom is a darker color, and that's the feces. And it smells terrible. So don't let it bother you. Why don't you let her sit there, okay? Because it's distracting to me too. Uh, Go over there, and we'll have you back on. So the droppings on the bottom are the feces themselves. Smell like crazy. Don't let them bother you. And in talking about breeding birds, I thought it would be a good idea to mention something I've mentioned again. I think repetition is the best teacher sometimes. Um, I have a magic marker in my hand. It's always in my pocket when I visit my loft. And there's a reason for that. Every time an egg is laid, I write the date. Today's the 16th, so I write the date on the eggs. And because I raise utility kings, rollers, and homers, both racing and show quality or colored, I also I have a formula. R means roller, RH means racing homer, UK is utility king. So, and then the last one would be COL. That just tells me that's a colored homer egg. The reason I do that, number one, the date is important. Just today, if I was out there, I'd write 16 because there's only one 16 per month. So I write 16, and let's say it's a racing. And If for some reason, because I sell birds, somebody wants that particular pair, I can take that 16 and go find another pair that has eggs on the 15th, 16th, 17th, within a day, either way is what I try to do. And I can, if I don't want the eggs from the second pair, I can throw them away and put the eggs from the pair that I sold. Or in extreme cases, and I have that going on right now, both pair, I have a pair that I'm selling, and I have a pair that has eggs. So, but I want to keep that pair, and I want to keep their young. So what I do is, because I have upwards of 300 plus pigeons, there's always 2 or 3 or 4 with eggs right around the same date. So I will take the 2 eggs on the pair I sold, go find 2 pair with the 15, 16, or 7 and I'll put one of the eggs under each of the pair with the 16. I hope I'm making myself clear. So those 2 other pair will actually have 3 eggs. Like I say, it's unusual to do, but you can do it occasionally. A lot of people don't realize that you can raise one good pair will raise 3 young ones without any problem. Now it's a lot of work, and it does exhaust them because of taking care of 3. I have 2 nests right now. One is a pair of homers that I know are good breeders, and they've got 3 young. And the 3 young will be out of the nest by next week, and they're in great shape. I picked them up this morning, and their bellies, their crop is completely full. And I also have another set where the eggs, I have put 3 eggs with the same date. Now, I do that on a semi-regular basis, only when I absolutely need to. But you should know, don't panic. Sometimes you lose a parent might get lost flying or die for whatever reason, or get sick and want to leave the nest. Well, you can always move them around if you have the right date. So write the date on the egg. It'll help you an awful lot. I, Gina here, I wanted to talk about a couple of other things because I get questions a lot as to, oh, I know, there it is. People want to know what I use, just like people want to know or want to know if they can visit my lofts. In fact, I had a couple yesterday that spent some time with me, great people, Earl and Connie Gates, and they wanted to visit my lofts, and they did. I tell them, you have to call me. If you want to visit my lofts, you're more than welcome to do it, but you have to call and make an appointment. And the reason you have to make an appointment, it's like a woman who has company coming. She wants to clean the house. Well, not to say my lofts are that dirty, but if I have company coming and wants to look at my loft, I need a day or two to clean up my loft and sweep the floor and do all that kind of stuff. So you have to call and make an appointment. But you're more than welcome. My lofts are nothing special, but even I remember Connie mentioning something, I can't remember what it was, but it was an idea for their loft. So if you come to my lofts, you'll see I use a lot of different perches. I use a lot of different items. I want to test them, nest fronts, nest boxes. I test them all. But I wanted to mention, these are my 2 favorite perches. People want to know, what are my favorite? So this is called a Space Saver. It's a great little perch. It's supported. It's real strong. It can go this way or it can go this way. The reason I like it, the droppings all go to the floor. There's almost nothing to clean. And having as many pigeons as I have, the less cleaning I do, the better. I don't like the V perches because, and we sell the V perches, you have 2 surfaces to clean. Here, it's real easy to clean. The other one is the block perch. This is just a 2x4, pretty much cut in half. And it has a clip on the back. And it has a mating clip. You screw the clip to the wall, and this goes down, and it's secure. If And with me, it happens a lot. I might have a loft that's built for 50 birds or 25 birds, let's say 25, and I got 30 perches or 40 perches in there. I can go and take these perches right off, reduce the number of perches that I need. If I've got 25 birds, I don't need 50 perches. So those are 2 of my very favorite perches. And I know we've only got about 2 or 3 more minutes. Time goes by so quick, and quicker with Gina having to get ready for the show, and Veronica walked out. I said, Veronica, 2:45, I'm supposed to be on the air. And she said, I'll be right back. So we were 2 minutes late. This is the favorite scraper. I can use anything I want. You can't beat this scraper. It's got three edges, so you go this way, and you can go sharpness. So all three of them are kept sharp if you twirl it. But what I like about this, when you're cleaning nest boxes and perches, the hand scraper is okay. We sell lots of them. But the trick with this one, or what makes it so much nicer, is you pull. So I have a dustpan. If I want to clean perches, I put the dustpan under the perch and scrape the dropping. Nest box is the same way. I've got a clay nest bowl in there. I pick it up, move it out of the nest box, and I pull all the droppings into that dustpan. Makes it so much easier. And if you want to clean a surface of a nest box, so much quicker. So if you're looking for a great perch, I don't know how long we'll get these, because we did have a problem at one time. But this is made in Belgium, stainless steel, great perch. Okay. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is I do get a lot of phone calls. If you need to talk to me personally, my number is 724, my home number now, 359 5355. If you don't have a pencil, I'll mention it again in a minute. But there are some ground rules. Don't call me, please, before 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're in Pennsylvania. If you're in California, there's a 3-hour difference. The reason for before 9 o'clock is I sleep till 5 till 9. I'm just kidding. But I like to get up, have a cup of coffee, have breakfast, relax for a little bit of time before the phone starts ringing. So if you call, a lot of times I will not answer it before 9. And I try to shut things down at 5 o'clock in the evening. So try to call me between 9 and 5 Eastern, and don't call me on Saturdays or Sundays. I won't answer the phone. I've got a family, got grass to cut, all those kinds of things. 724-359-5355. We're going to go right into our show. Gina's in the wings. You want to go around that way, Gina? Okay. You'll notice how gorgeous she is. When Earl was here yesterday, he says, I just want you guys to know, talking to Gina and myself, you're a lot better looking live than you are. Well, isn't that what he said? Something to that effect?
In person, yeah.
Welcome, Gina.
Thank
Take
you.
right over.
Good afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. I know it's beautiful here. Hope it is where you're at also. This is our 38th show and counting. Today we're going to talk about some traps, different, the bobs and the cross rods, all that, the different parts you need for the trap if you want to make your own. And what is that called? Widowhood front, along with a few other things. If you have any questions, please just ask them right on Facebook. We will answer them. And always remember that one question may lead to another question. So we may have a few follow-up questions for you. So,
and we usually forget we have Ask Us Anything segment somewhere. But if any time you have a question, you want to ask it, it doesn't have to be about pigeons. You can ask what Gina's mother looks like, because as gorgeous as she is, her mother is a lot better looking, and I married her mother. Go ahead.
Also, I wanted to point out that in the catalog that I don't have in front of me, there is an index in the back. A lot of people call and say they don't know what page something's on. Well, there is an index in the back. So if you know what you're looking for, then you can look it up in the index and find it in the catalog.
And while you're mentioning that, a question I get an awful lot on it, just seems to me they should know the answer. If you call me and ask me for a suggestion for the product, let's say I say it's amoxicillin, and they want to get their pencil and paper out to write the directions, and I say to them, you don't need to do that. When you get the product, the directions are on it. If you go to the catalog, all the directions are in the catalog. Or if you're online, our website, the directions are there. So you don't have to ask for directions. But I tell people, if you, after you read the directions, if you're confused or have more questions, give us a call. But the directions, every product we have, and I think if you look in other catalogs, they don't do that. If every product we have that's medicines and vitamins, we give you the directions in the catalog. And that helps out a lot of the other companies because I notice they look at our catalog and, but that's all right. I'd rather be leading than following.
That's right. So if you need a catalog, give us a call. We'll send you a free catalog, or you could order it on the website. But just remember the indexes in the back if you're looking for something. A lot of times people, some of the products we're going to talk about today are the bobs, and a lot of people, people call them a lot of different names.
Wires.
Yeah, I can't even think of some of them, but people call and I don't know what they're talking about, and then they try to explain it, and I kind of understand, but we call them bobs. I don't know.
But I've been called that for 100 years.
Oh, okay.
Although depending on the area you're in, you probably do call them something else.
Yeah. So the bob wires. But anyways, look in a catalog. If you want a catalog, give us a call. We'll send you one. You'll send your friend one. Anybody that wants one, we'll send one.
Yep. And the catalog that's being used right now is our catalog 2018-2019. Gina and I and Veronica are responsible for producing the next catalog, and we've already been on it month and a half. We've done so many catalogs, and I always say this is going to be an easy one. But generally speaking, 10 months might be a record. A year plus is what it takes for us to put it in. And even though it seems like we've done so many, and so many of the products are the same, it takes a long time. One of the things with the catalog, a week after we publish it, people start calling us and telling us the mistakes we made, and we write it down in a book, and then when we work on a new catalog, we go find out all the mistakes we made and try to correct them. But I want you to know, I have the option and Gina has the option. One time, we both find a place to put in the wrong information because there are people out there who love to critique people and find mistakes. So if you find a couple of mistakes, they're there for you. Oh, well.
And just keep in mind when you do get a catalog, prices change like that. Even though we put out a catalog, whoever we buy it from, they could call us tomorrow and say, "Oh, this price changed." So it happens. A lot of people get upset because the prices changed. A lot of times there's nothing we can do about it. But there also are prices that drop as well. We just recently had a product that dropped drastically in price. And I had a customer call and order, and she's like, "That's not right." And I said, "It's right. The price dropped on it." So it does happen.
We buy from Europe, and all of the products from Europe are based on the euro. 2 years ago, if it was an American dollar, the euro was $1.45. Now the euro is $1.12. So in some cases, prices have gone down. And the other thing you might want to mention, if you want to know the accurate price up to this moment, it's on our website. We update the website immediately, but when you print a catalog that goes for almost 2 years, that price is bound to change in some cases.
Right. And we also, there's items that gets discontinued after the catalog is produced. So just keep that in mind. And okay. Sometimes maybe if you look in a catalog and you want a product, have a backup just in case either that product's out of stock or it was discontinued.
So I was talking about this perch. Scraper. It's a great scraper. But if you live by yourself, a man or woman, keep it near the front door or the back door where people come in. If they come in and go, boom, you got them. They're dead. I just came up with that. It's a weapon. Sorry about that.
And if you're a scary person, like some people.
Yeah. Mislock everything. All right. We're going to talk about product. Do you have something else?
Yes. No, okay. Product.
Okay. Let's start. We're going to talk about the traps. I guess the trap design hasn't changed for years and years, but there are people who still get confused. So we thought we'd talk about them. The three we're going to talk about are basically operate the same way. They're just different bobs, and the bob is the part that swings. So this is a bob right there. So if you want to make your own, we sell the bobs and we sell the cross rod. Easy. So if you need to make your own, they're easy to do. You're paying us to frame them, and you can go to the hardware store and get this turn button if you want.
Or we sell them.
Yeah, we do sell them, but I just trying to point out one of the problems is if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's or those kind of places, you can't buy one. You can't buy two. You got to buy a packet of 6 or something. So we sell these. Now, here's how we'll start with this. This is a 12 by 12 trap, and I got to stop and think. Let's say 12 by 14. Okay, I'm sorry. 12. The other one's 12 by 12. So if you want to open it and let the birds out, this you're outside. I'm in the loft. You turn this button, and the bobs stay up. Your birds go in and out. I've got my birds all trained. When I open my bobs like this, open my trap, I clap my hand, and within 5 seconds, those birds are gone. I trained them from being very, very young. I would clap my hand, and most of them didn't know what it meant. I would pick them up and put them outside on the landing board, which has an aviary, and I would drop it, and if they wanted to come in, they have to figure out how to get in. But on the other hand, also, I wanted them to exit quickly. So if I got 20 birds in a section and I've trained them, I open up the bobs, they see it, but when I clap my hand, boom, they're gone. And as soon as every one of them is out, they're hungry, I drop this down, there you go. Now, when they come home, they come in through here, they learn to do that, they can't get back out. So 12 by 12, 12 by 14, and this is the Belgian bob trap. Okay, this is a bob. Okay. Now we're going to talk about a different design. Well, basically, I shouldn't say different design, a different bob altogether. So here again, inside my trap. If I want to let them out, I twist this up, turn my button, and it stays up until they're out. I can actually be outside, and I do it all the time. I reach in and drop it, and it drops by itself. So this is a 12-inch by 12-inch trap. We make them in sizes.
4 sizes. 6 by 12, 12 by 12, 18 by 12, and 24 by 12.
Okay. And we also sell the individual bob, as Gina was showing you. And but this one's a little bit different in that if you want to make your own trap, you figure out the distance, and every one of these needs, this is called a spacer. You need one of these at the end, because if you didn't have this and it was a regular bob up here, it could snag on the side of the wood. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So this spacer is something you need. So if you're going to buy a trap, you need a spacer. Sometimes it's hard for us to explain why, but this spacer keeps this one away from the sidewall. The other thing, you can't see it very well, but this is all time. John Raber, who makes these for us, an Amish man, sands everything. You can barely see the edges of them. He does great, great work. We get so many compliments on his work. So if you want to make your own, you have to order the number of bobs you want. You have to order a spacer, and you need a lift rod. And this is, oh, I'm sorry, we sell the rod too. Mm-hmm. And then this is just a case where we hold them all up to do that. So in order to do that, you need that to lift rod. And the other thing is, we'll custom, I shouldn't say we, John Raber will custom make just about any size you want. But it has to be within the parameters of these. In other words, if from here to here is 12 inches and you want to go 12 and 3/4, it's difficult to do because of the measurements have to fit in. So if you call Gina and give her the measurements, you'll find we're very reasonable. He'll custom make it just for you, and send it to us, or in some cases, John will send it directly to you. Okay, so this is a 12 by 12.
And keep in mind on the custom orders, don't expect it tomorrow because it takes time for him to stop what he's doing and make that one or two or however many items you want, and that takes time.
Yeah, and he has to tear down his jig, it's called. The jig is set up to make specific sizes. Well, it's set for 12 by 12 and you want a different size. He has to actually break down his jig and reset his jig to make the size that you want. So it takes a little time. It's not terribly expensive to do that, but we mention that to you. The other thing is, John makes all of our wood products, works for us all the time. He has no other job other than making wood products for you. But the reason I mentioned that, we have the traps, we have the nest fronts, we have the nest boxes. We have so many things that he makes, and almost without exception, he can make a custom size for you. If you have a special breed that needs a special front or a special purse or something special.
Basket, box.
Yeah, and in
whatever
some
it is.
cases, people send in drawings. This is what they want for their particular use. So we'll custom make it for you. We may have to call you to get some an idea to make sure we're right, but it's a heck of an opportunity. Now, I wanted to talk about.
Let me say something real quick.
Okay. I haven't been able to talk through this whole show.
I know.
Terrible.
I'm sorry. So as we was talking about the bobs, these are the 3 different styles that we have: the USA, the Belgium, and the Foys. And when Jerry was talking about the spacer, you only need the spacer with the Foys bob. Okay, you don't need it with the Belgium or the USA.
And you only need one per trap.
Right, because of the style of the bobs. But if you have questions on it, give us a call. Everybody here is familiar with it and can walk you through it if you want the separate pieces to make your own trap.
And this one is the only one we don't sell as an assembled trap. Is that correct?
Right, yes. The other 2 sell as assembled. And the first one that we talked about, the Belgium trap, this one, with the T-top, that comes in 2 sizes as well.
Okay. This is something we came up with, I'm going to guess, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. To my knowledge, nobody else sells it. But we have received requests. There's no question, especially if you don't paint the wood trap over time, wood has a tendency to warp or it absorbs moisture. So we wanted to come up with an idea that we probably should call it a lifetime trap. This is all aluminum with the exception of the turn button, which is steel. So all aluminum, it will not rust. That's the important thing. It'll last you a lifetime. Now these little pieces here on the corners are plastic, but they will resist weather too. Go ahead.
I was just going to mention about the corners because somebody called one time and said it's not all aluminum. The corners aren't aluminum.
Nor is this part. But there's a reason for that. This is specially made to accept the square extrusion. So
Right.
we couldn't get an aluminum one, but it won't rust. And as I said, the turn button is steel. So it basically works exactly the same way. It'll stay up, or it'll come back down. This is a new one, tight. Okay, that's our traps. That's pretty much it.
And this one also comes in 4 sizes.
Did you mention that how to ask questions, that kind of thing?
Yes. You can just type your questions right on the live show and we will answer them.
We will answer them, absolutely.
We will answer
I
them.
forgot I had.
Or he will answer them.
Okay, so if you got a question, it's a time to get it answered. No dumb questions. Good idea if you've got a question, just send it in because you're helping other people too. So many questions. There are people who would like to have the answer. They don't have the nerve or whatever. They just don't send a question in. So if you have any questions as it pertains to pigeons or chickens, we'd be glad to take them and we'll answer them for you. If we don't have an answer, we'll do a little bit of research and I'll get your phone number or you can call me after we do the show. We can discuss it and I'll get the answers for you. Foy's phone number, you can't send a question to Foy's. It has to be through Facebook. But if you want to talk to us after the show, it's 724 843 6889, and our email address is foyspetsupplies.com. Really easy. So, we don't have any questions, so we'll have to keep on going. Shame on you folks. We need some questions. Okay.
And your questions don't have to be pertaining to the topic at hand. It can be anything.
In fact, in talking about traps, that's the reason we were on late today. Veronica has a raccoon problem at her house, and we sell a trap that is really a good trap, and she wanted to borrow it. I tried to charge her, but she's word not cheap. It's frugal. Or stingy might be another word. But I lent her my trap with no cost at all. She'll catch that raccoon. They're a great trap, almost a no miss kind of a situation. So if you have a cat, or maybe a raccoon, or I've caught possums. That's something else I've caught in mine. We all laugh about it. Is I set my trap for a raccoon one night, and I went out and one of my chickens was in the trap.
You caught skunks before too.
Huh?
Skunks.
Skunk, yeah. Skunk is a lot of fun to catch them.
Ugh.
I had one friend who lives on a farm, and raccoons were a real problem, and he borrowed the trap. He caught 16 raccoons, so you can see. But he had a cornfield, and they just loved that corn out there. So he had 16 of them. Okay, wanted to mention something else. It's getting to be more common now. People with birds that are sick, and either I can't figure it out, or we've talked to veterinarians, they can't figure it out based on what you're telling them, or based on sending in the droppings to Foy's and we get them analyzed. We encourage you to give some thought to sending a bird to us, and we will have a veterinarian and an avian veterinarian look at them and do a complete, the word is necropsy, but we call it autopsy, I guess, in humans. But if you really want to know what's wrong with that bird, you send them to us. We'll have the complete autopsy for the bird, and you get 3 reports. One is the interim. When they cut the bird open, it's what they see and what they think might be wrong. Then you get an interim. They're all done with their autopsy, and they give you a report that hopefully tells you exactly what's wrong. Then the last one, the final report, they actually do send it in to get a virology lab to look at it to make sure there is no virus. So it's very, very thorough. It's not terribly expensive. It's less than $100 to have it done. If you need more information on sending the bird, how to send it, you have to call us first, and we'll tell you how to send it. It has to be with ice packs. So it's better to call and talk to Gina. She's the expert, right? I just made you the expert. So it's a great way to if you've got expensive birds, to me, it makes no sense if you try one medicine, it doesn't work, so you try another medicine. And I have people calling me that way. Or they go on to a third medicine. And they might have spent $150 on medicines because they're not cheap. You can call, we can send a bird for you, or have you send it to the vets, and we'll find out what's wrong with that bird. Great way to do it. Okay. Hello?
Yes.
Did you leave us?
I did for a second. Okay, we have a question. Hi, Stephen. What's the proper way to get 2 birds to breed together for racing pigeons? What's the proper technique?
Not sure, Stephen, if I understand the question. But going down to the basics, you need a boy and a girl. Does that make sense? You know, so it need to be a male pigeon and a female pigeon. Now, how do you get them to breed together? If they're not already a mated pair, or if they are mated but they're not mated the way you want them, buy yourself a cage or build a cage. We sell the cage here. That's great for that. Um, but you put them in a cage by themselves, if nothing else, and if it's at all possible, in a different building or in a different section. You put those hen and cock in there, and within a week or 10 days, they're going to be mated. If you want to be really sure, after a week or 10 days, put a nest bowl in there, and you'll see that they're mated. They'll be in that nest bowl. So basically, two species of birds.
Specific breeds.
It's a pigeon's a pigeon. I mean, I'm not exactly sure, Steve, what that means. Two specific breeds. If you want to mix them, or you, well, even if it's two different breeds, the system is exactly the same. And then once they've mated, if it's at all possible, don't put them back into the same section as the original mates were, because then the two cocks might end up fighting. I hope I've answered your question, Steve, but if I haven't, just send a follow-up.
Or call us after the show.
Yeah, or call after the show. You can talk to me if I'm still here. But when the show is over, I'll tell you. All right. Well, anyway, we do thank you. The mailman was just here. See you. Your order's on the way. UPS will be next, and FedEx will be after that.
Roxanne is asking if anyone can help her find a book called The Performing Roller Pigeon Abstract. It's not a book we sell. Are you familiar with it?
Well, I have a collection of over 100 plus books. Roxanne, call the store, and she'll get your phone number, or Gina will, or I will, 724-843-6889. Ask for Gina, and I will look at my collection when I get home. I have a number of roller books that are out of print, but I've never heard of that one, so if I can find it, I will for you. Okay.
Another question from
Carrie Ann Packard.
Carrie Ann. I have a mixed breed squab and 6 Homer squabs. Would it be okay for him to grow up with the Homers? The mixed breed.
Absolutely, no question. The only time you might run into a little bit of a problem if they're very small and you get aggressive Homer cock could pick on them, but that's unusual. What you'll find, those mixed breed squabs, as they get 8 or 9 months old, will mate with your Homers. They don't know the difference. A pigeon's a pigeon, so any breed will mate with the other breed. So should be no problem at all.
Gary's asking what's going on in California for them not to fly birds.
Well, that's the virus. It's not the state of California, Gary. It's the southern part of California. There is a ban on flying birds, selling birds, moving birds in or out of the state. It's because of what they perceive. I think they call it Newcastle, which is a chicken disease. But the United States government considers pigeons, although they're 100% wrong, they call pigeons poultry. So if there's a ban or any kind of restrictions on chickens, it also is on pigeons. So I don't think that ban has been lifted in Southern California, and it does say you cannot move birds. If you have a neighbor and he wants some of your pigeons, legally you can't do that. You can't give them to him, sell them, move them, can't fly them. So pretty sure that ban is still in effect. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
This.
Yes.
Oh, we've. Yeah.
Yeah. We do. This is a popular seller with us, but people do have questions. This is a nest front only. It's made for you to use in your nest box or to use as a nest front, and you dowel it in. But maybe don't have the tools to cut this out or hinge it. So we brought this into the country a number of years ago. So the way it basically works, this you're in the loft looking at it. There's the landing perch to walk into the nest box. You can lock it if you like. Or the other thing with these is what's good about them is you can cut them down to the size that you want. You would cut it this way if it's too high, or you can take a little bit off the bottom. But it makes more sense to take them. So this is a all plastic nest front. It's great for people who are fairly handy, want to build their own nest fronts, but don't have the equipment to cut that. So it's available to you. If you have any questions on that, certainly give us a call.
Thank you.
The auction comes up at 4 o'clock. If you saw the birds on our site, you can go look at those free pair. It goes from 4 to 4:15. I want to mention too, we've said it before, but it happened again last week. Uh, you have until 4:15, and we're adamant about that. At 4:15, the auction is over. Well, we sold all three pair by 4:15 the last show, and somebody called in later and wanted to buy the birds and was willing to pay considerably more, but we told them it's too late. So you can go and place your bids right now on Facebook, or you can go. We'll show you the birds again from 4 to 4:15. But if you wait too late, you're not going to get the birds because don't assume. Explain that about the time.
If you wait till 4:14 to submit your bid, just because you submit it at 4:15 doesn't mean it's going to immediately, we're not going to immediately see it. So don't wait to the very last minute or seconds to submit it, because we may not see it until 4:16 or 4:17. That happened last week. When somebody thought they won because she placed their bid, but we got it like a minute after it was over. So try not to wait till the very last minute thinking you're going to get your last bid in there, because it may not cross over in time. Right?
Brian's got a question.
Hi, Brian. Some of my breeders around have mentioned having problems with young bird in the nest growing. Also had them mention that some pairs are drinking a lot of water. No real wet droppings, just soft. The droppings are a good color, not green. Any idea what's going on?
Well, the reason that pigeons drink an abnormal amount of water is they're running a fever. Just like most people running a fever, um, you have to drink water. Well, with pigeons, it's instinct when they're running a fever. Now, they drink more water when they're breeding. There's no question about that, more than normal. But if they're breeding and you watch your birds breed before and haven't had that problem, and all of a sudden you see it, then you'll know the difference. So you have a sick bird. What's wrong? I don't know. And it might be something very mild, could get worse, but they're running a fever and may go away by itself. If I were you, I would do one of two things or both. When the birds are drinking a lot of water, you may want to give them some electrolytes, put it in the drinking water. The other thing you may want to do when they're drinking a lot of water is put them on a broad spectrum antibiotic, and that's amoxicillin. You can use amoxicillin while you're breeding, and you can use it long term. But if you're going to use it, go at least 7 days. So many people use an antibiotic for 3 or 4 days, and they see the birds seem to be improving, and they stop. You've wasted the money. If it says 7 days, just like my wife preaches to me about the pills that I have to take, I've got to take them as directed, not as I decide I'm going to take them. So if you're going to use a medicine, even though the birds show improvement, it takes at least 7 days of that amoxicillin to take effect. In fact, if you had a disease called chlamydia, that takes a 45-day treatment of amoxicillin or some other drug. So amoxicillin is
Veronica.
Her face is all red. Are we on the air or off the air? Oh, we're on the air. I'm sorry. Technical glitch from the studios of Foy's. We had to call in the engineer, and she took care of the problem. We were talking. We were talking about sending in the droppings. We have a veterinarian that will do that. Call Foy's. Ask for Sherry. Sherry will tell you how to do it. You mail them to us. Excuse me. Sit down, Gina. When you're talking over there, I'm distracted. And I'm distracted easy. I wanted to go back and mention if you send a bird into us for a necropsy by those vets, they do not tell you the medication to use. Um, they will let us know, or they'll tell me what's wrong, and I'll recommend medication. They won't do that, so you need to talk to me, and I'll help you out with that. But on the droppings analysis, the doctor many times will call you direct and explain what he thinks is wrong, or ask you some more pertinent questions.
Okay, we have another question from Sean. I bought the German bath salts that turns the water green. I still have lice on my birds. Should I do a borax soak or soak in the bath salts as well as letting them bathe twice a week? I sort of scrub them in borax water. Is that more effective, or should I do the scrub with the German bath salts, which is more effective?
Hold on, let me think. Well, I do think occasionally. I'd like you to describe the lice. What are they, round or are they longer than they are wide? The bath salts, the German bath salts, those would be, I think, naturals. If they bought them from us and they come from Germany, they're either Versailles or natural. I'm not sure whether you're talking about a salt that might have come from somebody else, and that's fine, but I might not be able to answer your question. Number one, you may not be using enough bath salts. So if they're not working, increase the amount that you're using. I'm looking at the screen. I'm not here, and I'm trying to read the question too, so my apologies. But maybe double this what you're using. Won't hurt them if they drink it. It's bitter tasting to them, but if they do drink it, it's not a problem. So increase that. The borax in the water combined with that might work. I don't know whether it'd be appreciably better or not. So first thing I would do is double the bath salts. If that doesn't work, try a different brand. But if it came from us and you're not satisfied with it, we'll certainly replace it with a different brand if that's the question. Okay, is that enough on that one?
Yes.
Thanks, Sean. Kirkpatrick. Oh, I guess I'm not supposed to mention last name? I guess it doesn't matter.
They can see it.
Oh, the customer can see it. I'm technically challenged, so. I wanted to mention something, and Veronica, while I'm mentioning this, I want you to keep note, okay? I have a lot of colored homers, and I would like to cut back. So if you're interested, you look in the catalog, and the colored homers, you buy one pair, it's 100. If you buy two pairs, it is 175. What I'd like to do is reduce it, and this is a limited time offer. When I'm down to where I want to be, then I'll shut it off. So I don't. So if you call a month from now, it won't be available. A pair of colored homers, and when I say colored, could be black, splashes, browns. I've got all different colors, and in mated, not in mated pair, but I guarantee you a hen and a cock. They're going to be $60 a pair, which is $30 a bird. That's pretty darn inexpensive. So if you go to our site, there are pictures of colored homers. There's pictures in our catalog too. But they don't assume you see those pictures and those are the birds you're going to get. Those are facsimiles. It's showing you an example of what I do have. So if you're interested, they're $30 each or $60 a pair. You can't buy one, and I'll ship them out to you. The cost in shipping for one pair is 80, two pairs 100. So you want to take advantage of it. Some gorgeous, gorgeous pigeons. They're racing pigeons. They'll come home, but the breeders won't, of course. But if you raise young ones, They're good racing pigeons, but because they're raised for their color, I don't recommend or suggest you fly them in a club. Um, they're raised because they're pretty, but you can take them for miles and miles away and they'll come home. Okay.
Sean wrote back. He said they're longer like rice and dark.
Okay. That is a louse. I thought it might be a mite of some sort, but that definitely is a louse, and they're usually light brown. Um, do what you're doing. Um, I know you hate to use chemicals. I use bath salts, but if I have an issue that for whatever reason the bath salts don't take care of, I use something called permethrin 2. Permethrin 2. Uh, it is a chemical, but it's a natural chemical because it has they use the can you say it? Pyrethrum? Pyrethrum. Anyway, it comes from the chrysanthemum flower. So it's still a bug killer, but it comes from a flower. And what I do is I use a 5-gallon bucket, put 3 gallons of warm water in it, and then put in 3 ounces of the permethrin 2. And then I suggest you wear gloves. I don't, but I suggest you wear gloves. And I take the bird, dip it all the way up to its beak, and then while it's underwater, I open one wing and then I open the other wing so that it gets wet under there, and then I spread the tail. And when they come out, it's penetrated the feathers and they look like a wet rat, so to speak. But when they dry off, there are no bugs of any kind on that bird. The second benefit of permethrin is you can make it into a spray, and you can spray your loft with it. It kills on contact. So that I found that there's nothing better than doing it that way.
Okay, another question. Will you be able to sell one pair of new adult red checker Adana dewlap?
I don't sell dewlaps. I know what they are. I don't have them. And I have no access to them. So I wish I could, but I just don't have them. I have racing homers, I have rollers, and I have utility kings, the meat pigeons. Other than that, right now, that's all I have.
And Rick just asked, what color utility kings do you raise?
Solid white. There are other meat pigeons. I have a fellow call me this morning again. It's his second call. He was looking for Texas Pioneers, which are also a meat pigeon. I don't have those, but I wanted to mention that a lot of people think because it's a big bird, it's a meat pigeon. It's not the case. You have to buy Texas Pioneers. You have to buy either the Utility King. There are 3 or 4 Hummels or another one. They eat the breast of the young ones. So those are the only ones. Somebody called me this morning, same fellow. He wanted to buy a pair of runts as meat pigeons. They're not meat pigeons. They're not all breasty. Just because they're big, another example would be the show king. It's a huge bird, but it doesn't mean it's a meat pigeon. Now, many years ago, and I'm sure there are still fanciers that do that, do eat just about any kind of pigeon, including racing homers. But the portions are so much smaller, you need to have a lot of them to make the meat that you might get on a meat pigeon. So if you're looking for meat, Texas Pioneers, Hubbles, Utility Kings, and there are a couple others. Hope I've answered your question.
Sean asked a follow-up question about the bath. What if they bathe in a few days after using what you mentioned, permethrin? Will they drink it by accident as it may come off in the water?
Maybe I didn't make myself clear. If you're going to use permethrin 2, you're going to use a 5-gallon bucket. You're going to put 3 gallons of warm water in it. Then you're going to put in 3 ounces of permethrin and stir it up a little bit if you want. It comes out looking like milk. And there's no way the bird's going to drink it because after you're done, you're going to dispose of the water that's left in that bucket. so they can't drink it. I guess does that,
Yeah.
just didn't
So
make myself clear.
You dip them in it. You don't let them bathe in it.
That's right. You dip them in it, open the wings, open the tail, and they're in your hands, and you put them back in the loft. Some of the water might drip off, but no, I've used it for years and never had an issue. But I would never put it in their bath water because it is a poison. Although natural, made from the chrysanthemum flower, it is an insecticide. Boy, I'm so pleased that all of you folks have been asking questions. That's what this show is all about. And there's sometimes we have to sort of tap dance because we don't get any questions at all. Not that there's a problem with me because I talk so much. Oh, I have another grandson. Hi there. You going to give me a hug? Oh my, oh my, oh my. These are another one of my great grandchildren. One is going to be world famous now. But anyways, if you have a question, you still have time. Auction starts in about 15 minutes. Send your questions through Facebook. Love to talk to you. If you want to talk to me personally, you can call my home phone. Don't call my cell. I hate to admit it, but it's the 5th cell phone I've lost, and this one hasn't shown up. So I don't have a cell phone, and Kim's punishing me by letting me go for a long time without another cell phone. She figures 5 a year is plenty. So anyway, my home phone number is 724-359-5355. Don't call me before 9. Don't call me after 5. And don't call me on weekends. That's free don't, huh? But do call me if you have a question that takes a detailed answer, or if you're interested in buying pigeons. I ship pigeons every Tuesday. I'll be glad to talk to you about what I have, special colors, special needs. And if you need a breed like the gentleman asked about, dewlaps, I don't know anybody that has dewlaps, but if he will call me or if anybody else has a question, I'll do some research and I'll do my very best to give you some contact information. But I found that if you get on the internet and type in dewlaps, a lot of times they'll come dewlap pigeons. It'll come up with some sources. But if you can't find them, I will certainly call around and do my very best to find some for you. I got another question. Yeah, the dog is here. Yeah, 724-843-6889 is Foy's also. And if you have a question that isn't too personal, but it can be a little personal, give us a question. And all those Ask Anything questions usually go to Gina. Nobody's ever asked me a personal question.
Yes, they have.
Well, have they?
Yes, they have.
Feel left out. Okay.
Excuse me. I wanted to throw in there when he said call him from 9 to 5. That's Eastern Standard Time. That's important.
Yes. It's 4:45 here, so that keeps you in mind. Wasn't that a movie? 9 to 5.
It was a movie and a song.
That's what I thought. It was the girl Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we sell stuff to the Dixie Stampede.
Yeah,
Dolly
we do.
Parton.
Yeah. We've sold to people who are magicians. We've sold to people who are celebrities. So we do sell a lot of pigeons. Okay. We're going to talk about this particular product. This is a corner nest box. Now, it looks kind of weird, doesn't it? And we designed this a number of years ago and actually improved it this year a little bit. What this is for is no matter how many, you may have to move my truck.
No, they're good.
Okay. I get questions, and I have the problem. I have it right now. I've got maybe 6 empty nest boxes in one section, and 3 pair have laid on the floor, even though there's 6 nest boxes. So there are times when you know you've got a bird on the floor, and you want to prevent the droppings from falling on that pair. A lot of times there's perches above it, or you want to protect that pair. So what you do is you place this in the corner. You put your nest bowl under here, and the pair will um, lay the eggs and set the eggs here. It's protected on three sides. This is open, so you've got put your nest ball right under there. Put it in the corner. Oop, I thought it was raining out there. Uh, Great idea. Also, some people put a nest ball up here, so you can have a pair here. You can have a pair here. It's great for people who have the same problem everybody has, so it's great for you. It's a corner nest box. You put that on the floor, put your nest bowl under it for those birds that just absolutely insist on laying eggs on the floor. I don't know why they do it, but in talking about that, some of the novice people who are fairly new with pigeons, what they do is the eggs are laid on the floor, they'll try to put them in a nest box. It won't work. If you move those eggs as much as 6 inches, that pair will leave the eggs and they'll let their baby pigeons starve to death because you moved it. So don't move it 6 or 8 inches thinking they'll follow it. They just won't do that. Once they've laid, what you can do is put a nest bowl and put some straw in it and hope they'll lay on it. Sometimes they'll even reject that. What I have in my loft is a floor covering, which we've talked about before, and it's about 3 to 4 inches thick. And they lay on the floor and they're laying on the floor covering. So what I do is sort of reverse psychology. I dig a hole down into the floor covering, and then I mound it around the hole, and they have protection. The eggs won't move around. The young can't get out, but they have less of a tendency of abandoning it when you do it that way. And don't think you can move those eggs around or young ones around. You can't do it. Just they'll leave them. They're as smart as they are in a lot of areas. They're also stupid. And can you imagine if you have a 24-inch nest box and the young are in one corner, and you pick those young up in the same nest box and move them to the other corner, they'll abandon the birds. They'll let the babies die. So don't think you can move them. All right.
We didn't talk about the widowhood front.
Okay. There's a system in racing pigeons, and this applies only to racing pigeons. It's called flying the widowhood system. And in the widowhood system, it's where you isolate the hen. First of all, you've got the hen and the cock that are race pigeons, and you're going to race that cock. And so you have the hen at home, she becomes the widow because she's going to be without her male. So this nest front, this widowhood front, the way it works basically is this fits in the nest box, okay? And it's this way. So you've got the hen locked in. See the sliding door? So it goes to the back, and this is the front. You would leave this open, and the screw holes are pre-drilled right here. You screw it down so it stays there. So the hen and the cock can go through, they can mate, they can have a nest bowl here for their young, but now it's getting to be race day. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the hen in here, you're going to close her off. He can't get to her. He sees her. He wants her so bad, but he can't get to her. That's when you take that cock, put it in the shipping basket, and take it to the club. And the idea is that male is going to fly so much quicker because he's been deprived of the comfort of his hen, and she's the widow. The thought is they will fly back much quicker. Okay. If you have a question, we're still taking questions. We got about 7 or 8 more minutes. Any question that you want to ask, be glad to take it. I got a talking about questions by Cassandra. Um, what was I going to say?
Question.
I know. I forget.
She distracted you.
I get distracted early. Easy. All right, you want to talk about that? You know what it is.
No. It's an aviary.
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
Someday I'm going to be gone, and you're going to do this show by yourself.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. All right. We make these. What sizes do we make these?
We have a small, medium, and large.
Okay. And we used to have an extra large.
Oh, and the extra large.
Okay, we do have an extra large. The extra large one is so big we can't ship it fully assembled. So we will sell it to you knocked down, completely ready to assemble with the holes drilled. Do we send the screws with it? Can't remember.
Um,
Doesn't matter.
I don't
But
know.
it's certainly too big to ship by UPS or through the mail. The rest of them, this is how you get it. This is the small one. And sometimes it's a little difficult to answer questions about it on the phone, so we're going to show it to you. Assume you're outside looking towards the front of your loft. This is what you would see. It's made to sit on a landing board, a board like this where the birds can go out. They can't get away, but they have advantage of the sun and so forth. My landing boards are wire, the same size wire, so that the droppings go down. But another nice thing is if you have a small bath pan, they can take a bath and the dropping of the water goes through to the ground. So this is this way. It has no back because the back is up against your loft. It has no bottom because the screen or landing board is there, so you don't need one. Some people put hinges on them so that they can flip them up. I don't do that, but they're removable. I have them in all of my lofts have them, and some of my landing boards are almost 20 feet long. But that's what I do, and I use 3 different aviaries. So this is called an aviary, easy to remove, very lightweight, top quality, won't have any issues with it, but it allows, we have a lot of customers in New York who have pigeons and leave them out their window, in and out. And they use small aviaries like this to match the window. They want their birds to not fly around, they want them to be able to get outside and get some weather. Pigeons love rain, by the way. It's a good time to put your birds out. You'll see they'll stretch their wings out just like they're taking a bath. They just love that. So that's an aviary. You've only got about 5 more minutes, 724. Facebook, if you will have a question. We thank you so much for so many questions. I think we shared this with you. We're totally amazed at how many people watch this show. Um, the high point was a number of weeks ago, maybe a number of months ago. We had 103,000 people watching the show. It's humbling that so many people would take the time. The last number of shows, we've averaged over 50,000 people watching the show. I had a lady call me the other day and said, Jerry, I have not missed one of those shows between you and Gina. She loved them so much. But we also realize, no, honey, I'm busy, honey. I'm sorry. We also realize that not, where was it? I'm sorry.
It's humbling.
Okay. That was my great grandson. He wanted to give me a big hug and say goodbye. Bye. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm just
We have a ask anything question.
Oh,
What job would you be terrible at?
there isn't any job I would be terrible at. I mean, I might as well be. I'm gonna lie. Um, as you may know, I'm kind of outgoing. I do a presentation, speech, seminar, like what you might, um, whatever you might want to call it. And the title of that um, is I won't tell you the title. Anyway, I talk about jobs, and as a child, I started working at around 6 or 7 years old, helping my big brothers, and we collected. It was back during World War II, and we collected newspapers and scrap iron. Then as I got older, I'm going to say 10 or 12 or 13, and in those days, they would put help wanted boys come to the farm kind of a thing. And they hired me, one farm hired me, and I picked, first I picked strawberries. And the farmer thought I was pretty good at that. And of the whole crew, he picked me out to come back, and I became a string bean picker. Pretty damn good. They moved me right up there. So yeah, I did that. Go on and on. I don't want to go too long, but from string beans, my brother and I, as we got older, I'm skipping some stuff because we got into the pigeon business when we were very, very young. Uh, I worked at a shoe shop, helped making shoes on a belt that I sanded off the leather. I have been a salesman for other companies. I've owned a home improvement company. I owned a pigeon supply company before we owned Foy's. I've gone door to door selling Watkins products. We're
So
outside.
pumpkins,
Pardon?
Christmas
Pumpkins,
trees.
Christmas trees, concrete lawn ornaments. I sold and was a fairly successful Amway distributor. Uh, goes on and on and on. We figured out one time I had somewhere around 30 to 35 different jobs in my lifetime. So now, terrible at, I will tell you this, I think I could do it if my family's uh, well-being depended. I'd hate to be an accountant. I don't have the patience for that kind of thing. I think I'd be a decent lawyer because I like to argue different sides.
Yes,
If
he
I
does.
argue with you and you you switch over to my idea, and I'll switch back to your idea. So I think I'd make a decent doctor. So what job would I be terrible at? Thanks for asking. I don't think there are too many.
Mechanical.
Oh, there it is. Oh, thank God you. I am mechanically challenged. So the job I'd be terrible at is any mechanical thing. Uh, I've gone through lawnmowers. Give an idea, I own 6 weed whackers. I took them to the guy to fix them. I took 5 of them yesterday because instead of trying to figure out how to fix them, I go out and buy another one. I had at one time I had 3 push mowers and 2 riders. Uh, it just when it comes to mechanical things, keep me away from them. All I do is screw them. If it can be broken, I'll give you an idea. It's
Real
4
quick.
o'clock. We have a coffee machine here, and every time I try to use the coffee machine, all you do is push one button. It breaks down on me. Is that not true?
Yes, it is.
Well, thank you very much. We're going to go right into our auction, Gina.
Yep. Our next show is May 31st. We already have a topic for it. We had a customer yesterday. He gave us a suggestion. So our next topic is we're going to be discussing all the different feeds and different types of grits and what you should use and why you should use it. If you have anything you want to suggest, a topic, just let us know. We'll be more than happy to show you something on the show or talk about it, whatever you would like. We're here for you. So,
And if you want to visit, it's summertime. We're right off the Pennsylvania Turnpike near the Ohio line. So if you're coming by on the Ohio Turnpike, if you're coming from Ohio or going towards Ohio, we're pretty much the first exit coming from Ohio and pretty much the last exit going towards Ohio. And from that turnpike, we're no more than 15 minutes away.
so
I'm going to get up and we're going to do the
go
auction.
right into the auction. So which way, Veronica? Facing in? Because of the rain? You need to move back because I'm not standing in the rain. I'll turn it around.
Okay, we're going to get into the auction.
We got to get on this
We
side.
on okay, but I know you can't hear me well because. Are you ready?
Yeah, move back.
Oh, it's
because
just
the
a
rain.
little bit of rain.
I don't want to get. It's Friday.
Okay. Are we good?
Veronica, back a little bit, please. Yeah, come on, we're on.
Well, okay. Well, I don't know.
Back up a little bit.
I wanted to mention the 8-bird compartment that we sell, and this is it here. You'll notice some of the benefits is so easy to move around. It's on casters. You can put it pretty much anywhere. They all have trays. The floor is a wire. The drop-ins go straight down. And if you want to clean them, you pull it out, scrape it, and put it back in again. There's one section here, one section here. The door's open, and here's your water. I also have a feeder up here if you want to put the feed in. But what I found out yesterday, what's been bothering me the most about this is that they waste a lot of feed with the center container. They're both throwing feed around. So what I did yesterday, and Gina and I checked on it again this morning. We switched to these feeders. This is a floor feeder. Opens it up. You can put grit on one side and feed on the other. I feed pellets, so that's why we happen to I switched from grains to pellet during breeding season. But we found out by using this, as they eat it, the feed comes down as they eat it. But there's almost no waste at all. I'll bet you yesterday we had maybe 6 or 8 grains on the floor, where the other one, it would be a terrible waste. So if you're looking for something that's great with a very low waste, it comes in a 2-hole and a 3-hole. Does it come in a 1-hole also? 2 or 3-hole. Okay. One side for grit, one for the other one you could put special grains in. First pair we want to talk about, Mike Miles sent me these birds, and these are Danzig High Flyers. That's a mated pair. They're very rare. And Mike is one of the top breeders in the United States. They're both a show bird and a flying bird. Veronica, I'm going to be asking you what the bid is in a couple of minutes, but you have until 4:15. But don't wait until 4:15. You'll be out. Try to call in before. Maybe give us at least 3 or 4 minutes so that we're sure via Facebook it gets to us. And if you want a bid on the birds, what do we have as a bid on those? 80? 100. Okay. When I was talking to Mike and I thanked him for sending the bird, he said, Jerry, I wouldn't sell those birds for less than $200 a pair. They're a match set, hen and cock, guaranteed a mated pair. Hold on, I'm gonna pull in and see how old they are, okay? This one is a 2018, very young bird, last year's bird. I'm pretty sure this is the cock. Also a 2018 bird. Beautiful feathering. No bugs. Not supposed to be. So if you're looking for a quality pair of birds and a rare pair, if you enter them in a show, they would be entered as rare breeds. We've got a bid of $100, and you've got almost 15 more minutes to send your bid in. Go right in through there if you want.
Not 15 minutes.
15 minutes. You've got about 10 more minutes?
10
Yeah,
minutes.
less than 10 minutes. Okay. The second pair, and I had somebody call me or email me yesterday. He wants to buy just one. He loved that grizzle, but I couldn't sell that grizzle because we advertise as a mated pair. So if you're looking for some attractive birds, these are race quality birds. They're not for show. They're for people who want birds that are going to come home quick, going to come from a far distance, and be good racers, and they should raise you quality racing pigeons. They're not show, they're racing. And you won't be able to raise young ones this year for racing, but there's no reason to believe next year's crop from this pair will do some darn good flying for you. Can't guarantee you winners, nobody can do that, but I know winning begets winning. And these birds come from one of the top combines in the Penn, Ohio area. And we have a bid on those for
130.
130. So if you have, the bids are in $10 increments. If you're interested in increasing the bid, we're at 130. You need to go to a minimum of 140, and you only have a few minutes to do that, less than 10. Nice pair of racing homers. Let me get their ages for you. This is the grizzle cockbird. Beautiful feathering. When it flies, it'll look pretty. And this cockbird is 2018. Most of the people watching this show would not know what GNEO is. GNEO is a very, very special race in Ohio, big money race, and you have to buy the bands early. So you don't put this band on anything other than what you think is going to be a winner, because you pay for the band, you pay for extra for pooling and so forth. So if you're looking for a good bird, doesn't mean you have to make it to that, although I think that's a nice pair. So can you get onto the eye? Beautiful eye on that pigeon. nice chalky nose. Looking for a healthy bird. All right, and the hen, and this is a mated pair, just so you know. You don't have to worry about mating them. This bird is a 17 bird. Yeah, 2017. It's from the Tarentum Club, which is in our area. Beautiful bird, nice dark eye. They call that a bull eye. All right, nice flight. All right, so we have a bid of 130. Those come from my loft, by the way. Um, I do sell a lot of racing pigeons, and this is a pair donated by Foy's. And the last one is, how much do we have for these? For the coop tumblers? Should be ready. 80. Okay. This is a pair of coop tumblers. Just gorgeous. One of the favorite pair for Gina. She loves them. Really, really tight feathered bird. They're a show pigeon, although they're flying. They fly and tumble also. And oops, this is booted. It's not muffed, but you can see it's called booted. That's as big as the feathers get. He's calling for her. That's the cock. This is the hen. She is a 2017 bird. They raised some pretty young ones. That's called a pearl eye. Look at a dainty little nose wattle. Pretty, pretty pigeon. Tight feathers, shining feathers. And here's the cock bird. You've only got maybe 5 or 6 minutes if you want to get a bid on these. This is the cock, coop tumbler. One of the this bird is 2000. 2012. It's an older bird, beautiful pigeon, still able to raise young. In fact, they laid, and they had laid in this cage, but I didn't want to raise them, and I got rid of the egg. But this is the male, pearl eye, a little bit bigger head on the male than on the female. Okay. And the unique feature of these birds, they're called coop tumblers, so they do tumble, but I wish I could do it. You can't hear it. When they fly, their wings go back up and they hit each other. And they make a clapping sound like somebody's clapping their hands in the loft. So when I'm in the loft, I always hear those birds flying, and I know it's these. So they're coop tumblers. You see them in shows. Not a very common bird, but not considered rare. And it's a performing bird and a flying bird. All right. So we have the Danzig High Flyers, which are at 100 what? $100 for these, so 110 will get you the pair. And these are 130. Pardon? 140 for these. Bidding just went up. These are at 80, aren't they? The coop tumblers. All right. If you have any questions, and I might mention, if you would be nice enough to consider donating some birds to future auctions. All of these birds, every penny we take in goes to the Legacy Fund Trust of the National Pigeon Association, and the investments from those funds or the earned income is used to support the hobby different needs. So it's sort of like a branch of the National Pigeon Association. If you'd like to send a bird, a pair of birds, we'd love to have them, and we have them in future auctions. So, pardon? Yeah, they have to be banded, and they have to be quality pigeons, not something you want to get rid of. Dr. Bob sent me, I think, 5 pair of Mookies. So we're going to have some Mookies. Never had them on our auction, so we're going to have Mookies in the near future. And if you decide you want to send them, we've reduced the shipping. If you ship a pair, or we have to ship a pair to the buyer, I'm sorry, then it's only $60, which we normally one pair would be 80. So we have to cap it off. I don't think we have enough time to, pardon, we have 2 more minutes, but all right, so if we get a bid. Once again, the show's brought to you by Foy's. I can't feel maybe not to do a little bit of a commercial, if you like our catalog, we send you one free. We've got plenty of them. If you have a club and everybody in the club wants one, we'll send you 10 or 12. And if you want to call, 724-843-6889. We'll have another auction in 2 weeks. I might mention also, if people are trying to get a hold of me, I'm going on vacation next Wednesday. I'll be gone until the following Monday. Somebody will be at my house, but I won't be there. But if you want to contact me, call me no later than Tuesday, and I'll do my very best. You can't leave a message. You get some goofy message, but I have caller ID, and I'll call you as soon as I possibly can. In fact, when I get home today, I'm sure I'll have 10 or 12 calls.
1 minute.
We generally take, on average, I take 10 to 15 calls a day. I was out cutting the grass this morning, and I was gone for less than an hour, and I came in, and there were 5 calls for me to answer. I answer health questions, loft questions, just about anything. We get some interesting questions, just like we do on our show. So, Foy's number, 724-843-6889, and my home phone number is 724-359-5355. We're going to close it down. The bids are over, right? We couldn't take another, pardon? Yeah, another 30 seconds, if that. So if you're going to send one in right now, don't do it. It won't get to us. But if you sent one in 2 minutes ago, we may have it. We're going to wait. Okay. The auction is over. Do you have the names of the top bidders? You hold on, folks. I'm going to go get the name of the bidders. We'll be out of here in 30 seconds. Okay, I think this gentleman has bought birds from us before. The Danzig High Flyers, Roy Short, $110. Thanks an awful lot, Roy. The let's see, the Tumbler. Oh, I gave you the wrong information. I'm sorry. Roy Short was last week, a week before. The Danzig High Flyers go to Randy Pressel, Pressel. The Racing Homers at 140 go to Rick Cooper. Rick Cooper ought to have bought those, but doesn't matter. $140, and the tumblers, the Coop tumblers, went for $80. Fella's last name Nnaema. We urge you. You can use your credit card. We take it up till Monday. If you haven't paid for the birds by Monday, we understand you don't want them for whatever reason, but you shouldn't bid if you don't. But it would be great if you would call right now, ask for Gina, and she'll take your credit card information, and I'll send the birds out on Tuesday. Jerry Gagne, Gina Gagne, saying thanks for listening. Talk to you in a couple of weeks. We're on.
Don't park your truck over there again, please.
Awesome.
What's up?
Was I right?
We done,
Don't
Veronica?
park your truck over there
Because you
again.
used to give me help.
Did you see my finger in the